Hello, Lug over here, and we're back today on F1 2020, and as you can see, we are here at Mexico for round 11 of the FOCC XRL season, and as you can see, we've skipped right over qualifying, and we're way down the order in P18, and that's because, considering that I've secured both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, I thought it would be fun to do a last to first challenge. And next week at Brazil, I'll also be doing another challenge. You'll have to wait and see what that one will be. But we're doing a last to first challenge in this league race here. You can see we're at P18 because a couple people retired before me because they're also doing the last to first challenge. The 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and let's go racing here. And we do get a pretty good start here. We're already past Red Rex, and there's a couple cars on our left here. It's 3 wide, I think, for a split second, but now we're just side by side with one car. Going into the first chicane, we have a look down the inside of the Renault, but we have to cut the corner slightly just to make sure we don't make contact with anyone. And then through here, we've gained already 2 positions here, and now going down the second straight, using some of the overtake button, we have a look down the inside, but we think better of it. We brake very early here just to make sure we don't go into the back of anyone and pick up damage. And through here, you're about to see we just squeeze our way through a little gap, and we manage to go past both of the McLarens, which is great. So we're up to P14 now as we head through the S section. Someone's off the track. It's Aiden. Aiden is Raiden. He's off the track, and he's also doing the last to first challenge in this race just for fun. And we're heading into the 3rd sector now, and we have a look down the inside of Ricardo, but we're not close enough to make a move. But we absolutely send a dive bomb down the inside of the hairpin, and we're actually alongside Albon now, and now we're going to try and go around the outside of Albon to make up 7 positions on this lap, but you can see he just spins us round really. And now we got to try and get out of the way of the pit entry very quickly, and luckily we didn't cause too much harm to anyone. But yeah, Albon, as you can see, just completely spun us off there, and we left him plenty of space to make the corner, but he ended up spinning us. So that's a bit frustrating because now we were up to P11 for a second, and now we're down in P16. But as we cut onto the end of lap 2, we've already caught up to a couple of guys in front of us who are just fighting for position. So we were able to catch them rather quickly, and now we're back up to P12. Fighting Raikkonen for this position now, down this straight. He's going to keep the position for now. We're going to see who breaks later into the first chicane, and it's going to be us around the outside of the first chicane, and we get the move done. And now ahead we have Ricardo in P11, the position that we were almost in at the end of the first lap. But now heading into this second chicane then. It's a green sector as to be expected on lap 3 of this race, and Ricardo is not too far in front of us at all. The gap is just 3/10. We're right on the back of his car now, and we're gonna try and get a move done as soon as possible. Heading through the S section, there's really not much of an overtaking opportunity here. You really just have to try and make it on your own, let alone try and make a move on another car. But we're going to go into the stadium section now, and we go around the outside of Ricardo, leave enough space for him, and we get the move done here. But we cut onto the end of lap 4 after making that move, and now we've caught up to a couple of guys in front of us once again. First, we have Russell ahead of us. We're going to try and make a move on him into the first chicane here. We're going to have a look down the inside, and we brake very late here, and we might get the move done here. We're going to have the outside line for turn 2, but it turns to the inside for turn 3, and we get the move done. And now ahead we have our teammate Valtteri Bottas, AI of course, and now heading into the second chicane, and we're just gonna try and get a move done on our teammate as soon as possible as we head through this double right-hander, and we actually draw alongside for a second around the outside, and we're actually gonna go fully alongside, and we get the move done into the S section, but we have a big snap of oversteer. We nearly spun. Luckily we caught that, and we did manage to keep the position there. So we're up to P9 already from P18 after not even 5 full laps. So it's been a good start to this race, as you can see. And now we're having a look around the outside of Magnussen. It becomes the inside. We make a bit of contact into the final corner. A little bit of contact and barging each other around here. And luckily none of us got damage. But we did end up getting that move done there for P7 now in this race. As we now head down this straight. Since we did have to make so many overtakes, we are quite low on the battery, which is not good. Already at around 20-30% maybe on lap 6 of this race. So we're definitely going to have to try and catch a slipstream, maybe a DRS train, and save a little bit of ERS, because we have used quite a lot in the opening stages of this race. As we said, a purple first sector, so definitely shows that we have the pace at this stage of the race. And now heading out of turn 6 into turn 7, which is the start of the S section, and we have Perez up ahead of us, and we're going to try and get the move done on him as soon as possible. He's going very slow through this S section, as you can see. We're going to use the overtake button, and we're going to try and go for a move, and we go around the outside of Perez at the stadium section, and we get that move done. Up into P5 now, as we cut onto the start of lap 8, and up ahead of us we have Aiden is Braden here, who was, as I said earlier, also doing the last to first challenge. So both of us P4 and P5 already in this race, so great starts from both of us here, as we now exit onto the second straight, and we do have the DRS, of course, because we are within that 1 second window of the car ahead. Going through the second chicane now, and we are very close to Aiden up ahead of us, but we're just taking our time here, trying not to get ahead of trying not to get too ahead of ourselves, and just being patient, because we don't want to try and make a move when there's no opportunity to do so and then end up picking up damage. So it's always better to be patient than to be too eager to make a move and then end up coming out worse from it. But we're entering the stadium section now, and still very close to Aiden in front of us, and we're definitely going to have the DRS heading down this very long main straight here, one of the longest in F1, I think. So we're going to use the battery power, we're going to have the DRS, we're using the rich fuel mix, and we're going to draw alongside him. We should be ahead going into turn 1, and you can see we move back to the racing line, but Aiden is actually going to have a look down the inside, which becomes the outside for turn 2, but we have a big snap of oversteer. We make a huge mistake. We actually go onto the grass, and we get a terrible exit, and Aiden ends up keeping the position for another lap here. Heading into the second chicane, and we have a look down the inside, but that move was simply never going to work, and we had to back out of it. So heading into turn 6 now, the double apex right-hander, and once again, very close to Aiden is Raiden's gearbox, but not close enough to make a move here. Aiden goes slightly out wide at turn 7, but not enough to obviously allow us to draw alongside. But exiting the S section now, and he actually goes off track to let us by. At this stage of the race, I thought he was trying to get DRS, but he actually just let us on through just to try and catch up to the leading pack. So thanks to him for allowing us to do that, and now we can try and push on to the guys in front. And now up ahead we have Disposable Stu in P3. He has started on the medium tire, as he often does in these league races, so he's 1.4 seconds ahead of us. And on the softs, even though they are quite worn out, I do expect to be catching him on these faster tires. So exiting turn 3 now, and we don't have DRS because we weren't close enough at that detection point, but heading down this second straight, and we are just outside of the 1 second gap, heading through the second chicane, and we are now 9/10 behind Disposable Stu. Make that 7/10, actually 6/10. So we are definitely pulling in the gap on our faster tires, and now heading into the S section, and Disposable Stu gets the line all wrong here. Maybe a little bit of a snap of oversteer at the start of that S section. But now, heading down this short straight, we're going to have a look down the inside of him, but we're not close enough to make a move. We weren't able to brake late enough to draw alongside him in the braking zone. So we have to stick behind for a little bit more for this stadium section. And now, heading out of the final actual real corner here. And we have gotten a pretty good exit, and now we're going to use a lot of the battery, but we're going to draw alongside him now, and we're going to get the move done on the straight, as you can see. And as we brake for turn 1, Raiden has actually gone into the pit lane here, so maybe he's trying for an undercut attempt on us, so we're going to have to respond to that on that same lap and box for a set of mediums is what we're going to go on to here. We're going to box for the medium tire, and then our third stint is going to be on the soft, as the one stop is simply not a good strategy at Mexico. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention, normally this league does 25% races, but today we're doing a 50% race just to test it out, see how it goes. Just trying out new things towards the end of this season, just to test them out. Forgot to mention that at the start, but you probably already noticed. But we're going to cut on to the end of lap 12 now, and we've caught up to Russell, and we get the move done on him into the stadium section. And now we've got an 8-second gap ahead to Triple G, who's also on the medium tire. I think he made his pit stop already, so he did not start on those mediums. He went from the soft to the medium as we did. But Disposables 2 currently leading, or as I say that, he's actually made his pit stop now. He was leading, he was on the mediums, yet to make a pit stop. Now it's P5 on the soft tire. And up ahead of us now as we cut onto the start of lap 16, going through the first chicane now. We have Triple G, we've caught up all the way up to him, and the gap is just half a second to him now. So, once again, being patient like we were with Raiden, and now heading into the second chicane. Missed the apex a little bit, but it's not too big of a deal. And now exiting the second chicane into turn 6, and we go slightly wide once again, but not too big of a deal as we don't lose too much time into the S section. Very difficult to follow another car through here because of the dirty air. You simply just understeer. It's very easy to get a warning here, let alone when you're by yourself. And when you're following another car, it becomes much harder. So, heading into the stadium section now, actually, we go for a move down the inside of Triple G at the hairpin, leave him enough space on the exit, and we get the move done. So, we are now leading this race. We're just going to try and be consistent, pull a gap, and manage our tires, our ERS, and our fuel well. And as we cut onto the start of lap 25, still we are in the lead of this race. Unfortunately, we get a 3-second time penalty for what was simply just a silly mistake here. And now, as we head down this second straight here, braking for the second chicane now, and heading through it now, through turn 5, exiting turn 5 now, and into turn 6, but the safety car has actually been deployed here, so that changes this entire race because the field was so spread out, and now we're all going to bunch up once again. And you saw in the MFD that we're actually boxing this lap as it's essentially a free pit stop, and we're going onto the soft tires, and our pit window opens just now, as you can see, lap 26 to lap 29. So we pitted on lap 25, which is really just one lap earlier than what we planned to do anyway. So this has been perfectly timed for us, really, because we essentially got a free pit stop in under safety car, and a lot of the guys behind are also going to do the same thing with pitting onto probably softs to the end of the race, as they can easily make it as we cut onto the end of this safety car period. Lap 28 now, we're going to go onto lap 29 for this restart, and especially at a track like Mexico, it's important to leave the restart very late because this straight is so long here. And we go now, we just bolt it right before the line, and very unpredictable as we were going so slowly before the restart, and then we just bolted it. The tires are freezing cold, as you can see, and we're weaving on the straight just to get some sort of temperature into them. And heading through the first chicane now, turn 2, hitting the apex nicely. Same thing with turn 3. And Triple G is 3 seconds behind us. You can see we're weaving again because there's absolutely no temperature in those tires. A couple people have come together on the exit of turn 3. Yellow flags are out there, as you can see. And heading into turn 6, and Triple G behind us has a 5-second time penalty. We have a 3-second time penalty. So if, for example, he overtakes us and pulls a 2-second gap, then he will win this race. So we obviously have to win this race. That's the goal. And then we're obviously going to try and pull a gap just to have a comfortable space from us to the car behind and try and get this win. So heading on to the end of lap 29, and we're going to attempt for the fastest lap as we're on fresh softs. It's towards the end of the race, so we've got low fuel, we've got plenty of battery after recharging under safety car. You can see we used so much of it on the main straight. I'm going to talk you through this lap now. So through the first chicane, using all of the curbs now, you have to absolutely nail the curbs through turns 2 and 3 as well, using as much exit curb as you can get away with. And now heading down the second straight, using some of the overtake, and now into the second chicane, using all of the track on entry. Don't touch the sausage curbs though, but then on the exit, use all of the track available. Through turn 6, missed the sausage curbs. We went a little bit wide, but we still took it pretty nicely. Into the S section, you want to use as much curb as possible. We used a little bit too much there and ended up getting a warning. And through here now, completely flat out on these softs, we actually get another warning. So we gotta calm it down a bit with these track limits. But it's 2 purple sectors. Through the stadium section now, use as much track on that exit. Don't touch any of the curbs here. And now through here, use the red and white curb. Use all of the curb on this entry. Red and white curb once again. And then for the exit, stay tight to the inside to finish off your lap. And it's a 15.9. And that is a pretty decent race lap in my opinion, as the DRS has now been enabled. But cutting on to the end of the final lap, that's pretty much all that happened for the rest of this race. The sun came out a bit, as it was quite overcast before, but we're going to head through the final couple of corners now. The checkered flag waves, and we claim victory in Mexico, and it was overall a really nice race. It was really fun as well, going from last to first, or P18 to first, but we basically did the last to first challenge in a league race. It was quite fun, and I was happy to do that here. As you can see the podium celebrations now, Triple G finishes P2, and Aiden Israden finishes P3. Just 1 point is the gap between those two in the Drivers' Championship. They're fighting over P2 in the Drivers' Championship. So it's going to go down to the wire for them in the finale at Brazil next week. So we'll have to see who comes out on top of that battle. But you can see the race results here, and overall a really good race. But guys, that is going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Next week in this league is actually the finale, and as I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to be doing another challenge like I did today. So make sure to stay tuned for that. You'll have to see what the challenge is when I post it next week. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.